Jan Michael Vincent, the actor who made a strong impression on audiences in the movie Airwolf, 1984, has had negative experiences throughout his 74 years of life. Suffering torture from family, career, and society, Jan Michael's life is likened to a slow-burning boom, making fans unable to hold back their tears. Are you curious about his life? This video will definitely not disappoint you because we will provide the whole truth about Jan Michael's death and unfortunate life. Do not miss! Jan Michael Vincent's tragic family history is marked by a series of unfortunate events that unfolded against the backdrop of crime and hardship. Born in Denver, Colorado in 1945, Jan Michael's early life was overshadowed by the criminal legacy of his grandfather, Herbert Vincent. Herbert, a notorious bank robber and counterfeiter, orchestrated a string of daring heists during the tumultuous 1920s and 1930s. Jan's father, Lloyd Whiteley Vincent, was left fatherless at the tender age of 12 when his father, Herbert, and Uncle Gordon were arrested for bank robbery and assault with a deadly weapon in Hanford. This left Lloyd to navigate a challenging and turbulent adolescence without the guidance of a paternal figure. The tragedy deepened when Jan's uncle, Hoy, met a violent end in Tulare, shot to death by a deputy sheriff. Hoy was also wanted for a robbery that had taken place in Oregon, adding another layer of sorrow to the Vincent family's already troubled history. To compound the misfortune, two more uncles, Clifford and Harold, found themselves on the wrong side of the law. Convicted of bank robbery in Hardwick and Strathmore, California in 1931, they added to the family's criminal saga. These events cast a dark shadow over Jan Michael Vincent's family, creating a backdrop of crime, loss, and sorrow that undoubtedly had a profound impact on his life. The intricate tale begins with the union of his parents, Lloyd Vincent and Doris, who met in 1940 when Doris was just 15 years old. Lloyd, having completed high school, was stationed in Denver as a B-25 bomber pilot during World War II in 1941. Their union took a tragic turn when they married in haste, and Doris was only 16 at the time. The seeds of Jan's lifelong mistrust of authority were sown during his formative years, observing his father in the military being commanded and controlled. This early exposure to a rigid system left an indelible mark on Jan's psyche, shaping his perception of authority figures and influencing his worldview. Jan Michael Vincent's family expanded with the birth of his sister, Jacqueline Jackie, in 1947, and later his brother Christopher, born in 1952. After the war, Lloyd, echoing Jan's grandfather's profession, became a painter. However, this period also marked the onset of Lloyd's battle with alcoholism, casting a shadow over the family's stability. By the time Jan was born in 1944, his parents had transitioned into owning a sign company in Hanford. Despite the family's outward semblance of normalcy, the internal struggles and complexities laid the groundwork for the challenges Jan would face later in life. Jan Michael Vincent's educational journey unfolded in Hanford, culminating in his graduation from Hanford High School in 1963. He enrolled at Ventura College in California, where he spent 3 years. However, an encounter with bureaucratic callousness altered the course of his life. A dismissive registration clerk abruptly shutting the window on him during lunch led Jan to abandon his college pursuits. Armed with $200 and a rebellious spirit, he ventured to Mexico, seeking escape and revelry. In a twist of fate, Jan found himself entangled in a system similar to the one that had shaped his father's life. He served in the California Army National Guard, mirroring the path his father had taken, remaining in the National Guard Reserve until 1971. Amidst the backdrop of Jan Michael Vincent's personal struggles, his foray into the world of acting provided a glimmer of hope, yet tragedy continued to weave its way into his narrative. The year 1967 marked his debut with a role in The Bandits, a film starring and co-directed by Robert Conrad. Simultaneously, he graced the small screen in the TV movie The Hardy Boys, The Mystery of the Chinese Junk. As the late 1960s unfolded, Vincent's potential was recognized by Universal Studios, leading to a series of appearances in various television productions. Notably, he took on a challenging role in a 1968 episode of Dragnet 1968 titled The Grenade, portraying a muscular high school student who fell victim to an acid attack by a mentally unstable classmate, played by Mickey Sholdar. This role showcased Vincent's versatility in tackling intense and emotionally charged characters. His journey continued with an appearance in the Danger Island segments of Hanna-Barbera's The Banana Splits series as Link from 1968 to 1969. However, tragedy struck his burgeoning career with his first starring role in the primetime soap opera The Survivors in the fall of 1969, alongside luminaries like Lana Turner and George Hamilton. Despite the promising start, the series met an untimely demise, being canceled mid-season, adding another layer of disappointment to Vincent's professional endeavors. In the late 1960s, Jan Michael Vincent also ventured into the realm of cinema, featuring in the 1969 20th Century Fox movie The Undefeated. In this film, he played Bubba Wilkes alongside legendary actors John Wayne, Rock Hudson, and Antonio Aguilar. Interestingly, Vincent's name appeared as Michael Vincent in the movie credits, hinting perhaps at a complexity or challenge surrounding his identity. Beyond the silver screen, Vincent made guest appearances in iconic TV shows, including 3 episodes of Lassie, alongside actor Tony Dow, and 2 episodes of the legendary Bonanza. These ventures showcased his potential and versatility in navigating both television and film. In the early 1970s, Jan Michael Vincent's acting career seemed poised for success, marked by critical acclaim and a diverse range of roles. However, beneath the surface of professional triumphs, a tragic undercurrent persisted. In 1970, Vincent earned accolades for his performance in the TV movie Tribes, a compelling narrative co-starring Darren McGavin. The film delved into the clash between a tough Marine bootcamp drill instructor and a defiant hippie draftee portrayed by Vincent, exploring themes of rebellion and conformity. The critical press hinted at Vincent's potential for nuanced and challenging roles. The following year, he delivered a complex performance alongside the legendary Robert Mitchum in Going Home, 1971, showcasing his ability to hold his own opposite seasoned actors. This success was juxtaposed with a Gunsmoke episode titled The Legend in the same year, highlighting Vincent's versatility in seamlessly transitioning between television and film. In 1972, Vincent shared the screen with Charles Bronson in the crime film The Mechanic, marking another milestone in his filmography. The same year, he ventured into the realm of made-for-TV movies with the love story Sandcastles, displaying his range as an actor. The tragic overtones continued in 1973 with Vincent starring in the Disney comedy The World's Greatest Athlete, offering a departure from the serious roles he had portrayed earlier. In the medical drama Marcus Welby, M.D., he tackled the challenging role of Richie, an alcoholic teenager, in the episode Catch a Ring That Isn't There. Another poignant portrayal came in the made-for-TV movie Deliver Us from Evil, as Nick Fleming opposite George Kennedy. Stepping into the realm of romance and controversy, Vincent assumed the role of the anti-hero Buster Lane in the 1974 film Buster and Billy, where he startled audiences with a bold full-frontal nudity scene. The subsequent years saw him navigating diverse genres, from the Western Bite the Bullet, 1975, alongside Gene Hackman, James Coburn, and Candice Bergen, to the trucker movie White Line Fever, 1975. The tragedy deepened with Vincent's involvement in Damnation Alley, 1977, a film based on Roger Zelazny's science fiction novel. Despite his notable appearances in films like Big Wednesday, 1978, and Hooper with Burt Reynolds, The personal demons that haunted Vincent behind the scenes began to take a toll on his career and personal life. In 1980, he took on a lead role in the gang-themed drama Defiance, a film that, despite its critical acclaim, received only a limited release. Alongside Danny Aiello, Vincent portrayed a Manhattan resident fighting back against the terrorizing influence of gang members in their neighborhood, a theme that echoed the real-life battles he faced. That same year, Vincent ventured into the realm of science fiction with The Return, a film released directly to television and video. Despite the promising trajectory of his career, the limited reach of these projects hinted at the challenges that would define his later years. In 1981, he co-starred with Kim Basinger in Hard Country, showcasing his versatility in navigating different genres. However, the highs were short-lived, and by 1983, he found himself at a crossroads after completing his role as Byron Henry, Briney, in the television miniseries The Winds of War. The pinnacle of Vincent's career during this period came with the role of Stringfellow Hawk in the action espionage series Airwolf, which began in 1984. Co-starring with Ernest Borgnine, Vincent's portrayal of the enigmatic pilot became the defining role of his career, earning him widespread recognition. However, his success on screen was overshadowed by the personal demons that plagued him. During the filming of Airwolf, Vincent openly admitted to grappling with drug and alcohol problems, a candid acknowledgement that pointed to the depth of his struggles. Despite seeking help, the challenges persisted, casting a somber tone on what should have been a triumphant phase in his professional life. Vincent's salary for Airwolf was noteworthy, standing at $200,000 per episode, marking him as the highest-paid actor in American television at the time. Yet, the highs of his career were marred by the ongoing battle with addiction and personal turmoil. After Airwolf concluded, Vincent's career took a downturn as he found himself relegated to smaller-budget and lower-exposure film projects, a stark contrast to the soaring heights he had reached earlier. In 1991, he collaborated with Tracy Lords in the suspense film Raw Nerve, a project that hinted at the challenges he faced as he navigated a changing landscape within the industry. The year 1996 saw Vincent in a peculiar turn, co-starring with Clint Howard in the black comedy horror film Ice Cream Man. While the film had a very limited theatrical release, it eventually attained an unexpected cult status through home video, portraying Vincent's descent into projects that contrasted sharply with his earlier acclaimed works. A notable deviation from his usual fare came in 1994 when Vincent took on a role in the South African-produced movie Ipitombi. Directed by Tommy Meyer and based on a musical by Bertha Egnos, this venture into international cinema showcased Vincent's willingness to explore diverse projects. The shadows deepened in 1996 when Vincent found himself in the hospital, committed to a role in Red Line, alongside Chad McQueen as Keller. His appearance in the film, marked by a swollen face, scars, and the haunting presence of a hospital ID bracelet, spoke volumes about the personal challenges he was facing during this period. In 1997, Vincent made a brief return to television with a guest role on Nash Bridges, portraying the title character's long-lost brother. The following year, he had a cameo in the independent film Buffalo 66, offering a glimpse into a career that was now characterized by sporadic appearances and a departure from the mainstream spotlight. His final acting credits came in the independent film White Boy, titled Menace, for the U.S. video market, released in March 2003. This marked the poignant end of a once prominent career, concluding in the shadows of independent cinema and a stark departure from the acclaim and recognition that had defined his earlier years. Jan Michael Vincent's personal life unfolded tragically, marred by tumultuous relationships, substance abuse, and legal troubles that cast a long shadow over his once promising career. In 1968, He married Bonnie Poorman, and the couple welcomed a daughter, Amber Spring Vincent, in 1973. However, the strains in their relationship became insurmountable, culminating in a divorce finalized in 1986. Despite the dissolution of his first marriage, Vincent's struggles persisted and took a darker turn when he remarried in 1986. His second wife, Joanne Robinson, sought legal protection through a restraining order in 1998, accusing him of abusive behavior during their tumultuous marriage. The narrative of failed relationships and allegations added another layer of tragedy to Vincent's personal life. Throughout much of his life, Vincent grappled with the demons of alcoholism and intravenous drug use. His battle with substance abuse manifested in a series of arrests, with incidents in 1977, 1978, and 1979 leading to charges of cocaine possession. The years 1984 and 1985 saw Vincent entangled in legal troubles once again, this time stemming from bar brawls. The downward spiral continued in 1986 when Vincent faced a felony assault charge. Despite the gravity of the accusation, he managed to secure acquittal as his attorney argued that the woman involved had tripped and fallen on a telephone cord within his home. Vincent's legal woes extended to drunk driving charges in 1988, but he evaded imprisonment by opting for rehabilitation. The year 2000 marked a particularly grim chapter in Vincent's personal history, as a $374,000 default judgment was issued against him. His former girlfriend alleged that he had physically assaulted her after their breakup, leading to a miscarriage. These disturbing allegations cast a stark light on the tragic and destructive nature of Vincent's relationships. Jan Michael Vincent's life in the 1990s and beyond unfolded as a tragic saga, marked by a series of devastating automobile accidents that echoed the tumultuous state of his personal affairs. The first of these near-fatal incidents occurred in February 1992, setting the stage for a string of misfortunes that would plague the actor in the years to come. The second collision, in August 1996, proved particularly harrowing. Vincent emerged from the wreckage with 3 broken vertebrae in his neck, an injury that would leave a lasting imprint on his life. The emergency medical procedures performed in the aftermath of the accident resulted in a permanent injury to his vocal cords, rendering his once resonant voice permanently raspy, symbolizing the physical toll exacted by his tumultuous existence. In the wake of the 1996 accident, Vincent faced legal consequences once again, charged with drunk driving. Despite surviving the crash, the repercussions continued to haunt him. His memory of the incident became clouded, as revealed in a poignant interview on the television program The Insider on September 18, 2007, where he confessed, "You know, I have no idea what you're talking about. I don't remember being in an accident." This poignant admission hinted at the toll not only on his body, but on his mental state as well. The year 2000 marked a dark chapter in Vincent's life as he violated probation stemming from prior alcohol-related arrests. His struggles with alcohol manifested publicly through 3 incidents of public intoxication and an assault on his fiancée. The consequence was a 60-day sentence in the Orange County Jail, underscoring the downward spiral of his personal and legal troubles. Vincent's life continued to be fraught with peril, as another automobile accident in 2008 added to the litany of misfortunes he endured. However, the most tragic revelation came in an interview with the National Enquirer on October 24, 2014, where he disclosed the amputation of his right leg just below the knee in 2012. This drastic measure was a result of a leg infection stemming from complications related to peripheral artery disease. In the aftermath, Vincent walked with a prosthetic limb, although the toll on his mobility was evident as he was sometimes forced to rely on a wheelchair. Jan Michael Vincent's life came to a tragic conclusion on February 10, 2019, casting a somber shadow over the legacy of a once prominent actor. At the age of 74, he breathed his last in Asheville, North Carolina, succumbing to cardiac arrest while hospitalized at Mission Hospital. The announcement of his death was a delayed revelation, adding an air of mystery to the final chapter of his life. The underlying cause of Vincent's demise was revealed to be bradycardia, a condition characterized by a decreased heart rate. This somber detail hinted at the enduring toll his tumultuous life had taken on his health. The gravity of the situation was underscored by the fact that his death remained shrouded in silence for nearly a month, a poignant testament to the complexities and challenges that defined his existence. The news of John Michael Vincent's passing finally broke on March 8, 2019, when TMZ revealed a slightly redacted copy of his death certificate. The delay in the public announcement added a layer of intrigue, highlighting the private nature of his final days. In his later years, Jan Michael gave several prominent interviews in which he admitted to a difficult life following his scandalous years as an artist. He said that amid the glitz and glamour of television stardom, his recollections were muddled by 4 decades of drowning his consciousness in grain alcohol and cheap beer. The once celebrated actor found himself lost in the fog of his own indulgences, unable to distinguish between reality and the blurred memories of his tumultuous journey. Descending into the abyss of addiction, Vincent candidly admitted to spending 2 decades on the skids, a downward spiral marked by brushes with the law, fueled by violent clashes with romantic partners. The echoes of his once prominent role in Airwolf now seemed like a distant echo, drowned out by the cacophony of his self-destructive habits. The stark admission of living in a Santa Monica alleyway revealed the depths to which Vincent had fallen. Yet paradoxically, he described those years as good, a chilling testament to the desolation that had become his reality. The cold, frigid nights and the relentless competition with seagulls for meager sustenance were the only reminders of a world that had long forgotten him. Vincent's strained relationship with the seagulls became a poignant metaphor for his own struggles. While others on the streets managed to coexist with the scavenging birds, Vincent found himself in perpetual conflict, mirroring the internal turmoil that had become his daily existence. The bitter competition for survival symbolized the harsh reality he faced, a reality where even the most basic necessities were a battleground. As he reflected on those desolate years, Vincent's narrative highlighted the isolation that comes with self-destruction. The man who once soared through the skies on screen as a helicopter pilot was now grounded, tethered to the harsh reality of life on the streets. As he languished in the shadows of his former self, a peculiar friendship with a pushy and audacious seagull named Stephen emerged as an ironic beacon of companionship in the darkness. Their fateful encounter occurred over the remnants of a discarded beer can, the last vestiges of liquid gold in the harsh reality of their existence. Stephen Seagull, as Jan Michael fondly dubbed him, embodied a brazen charm that belied the desperation of their circumstances. The memory of their initial skirmish over the crumpled can faded in the haze of alcohol-fueled forgetfulness, but what lingered was an unlikely alliance forged on the sandy shores of Santa Monica. Amidst the hardships of life on the streets, Stephen and Jan Michael found solace in shared breadcrumbs and the bitter warmth of Bud Ice. As the sun dipped below the horizon, they became unlikely comrades, bonding over crude commentary on passing women and the simple pleasures of their meager existence. In Stephen's lewd observations, Jan Michael discovered an unexpected camaraderie that defied the isolation of his destitute reality. However, fate had a macabre twist awaiting Jan Michael Vincent, an unforeseen chapter in his tragic tale. The cold nights of Santa Monica harbored more than the harsh elements. They concealed the existence of supernatural beings that preyed on the vulnerable. Drunk and oblivious, Jan Michael fell victim to the bite of Graftobel, a transpire, a mystical creature with peculiar powers. The revelation of the transpire unfolded like a bizarre fairy tale. In the wake of the bite, Jan Michael found himself transformed, not into the conventional vampire, but into a transsexual during certain nights or triggered by specific magical cues assigned by Graftoble. The other two transpires, Rotarath and Slizerdian, loomed in the shadowy corners of the universe, their influence extending far beyond the realm of mortal understanding. As Jan Michael grappled with the supernatural changes brought about by Graftoble's bite, Steven Seagull remained perched in his nest, oblivious to the strange metamorphosis occurring within his newfound friend. The once lonely nights behind a green dumpster now took on an otherworldly hue as Jan Michael Vincent navigated the bizarre landscape of his existence, where reality and fantasy converged in a tragic dance. Jan Michael's nostalgia shows that his life was not very smooth and it was completely different from what we always thought. What do you think about Jan Michael's life and tragic ending? Leave us your comments in the section below. We hope you have found this helpful video. Don't forget to leave a like, share, and subscribe to the channel if you like it. Thank you for watching this and see you in the next videos. Goodbye.